Eric, it's time for another Captain's Log, but you can help me out with it. I'm the captain, but you can help me with the Captain's Log. We have an inordinate number of pieces of news to talk about, which will run rapid fire as much as we can, which is the thing I should never say because we end up talking for way too long, but we're going to try to roll through some of this stuff. So, stuff for several weeks that I'm sure there are people who want us to weigh in on, even though some of this stuff is kind of old news.
One of the biggest ones dropped like right after we took the hiatus. We're like, we have to wait. Do we make a video? Do we just wait and talk? I think it's good that we wait and talk about it. We don't have the endless speculation.
Yeah,
we can kind of.
I have talked about some of this on my new Open Forum live show. Mm-hmm. So you'll probably do more talking than me on stuff that I've already talked about. Like most of the trailers, I've at least weighed in on. Okay. So I'm going to try not to repeat myself too horribly much. But anyway, also quick plug for that. At least for right now, for the foreseeable future, we'll see how it goes. It had a great first couple of weeks, so I'm going to keep doing it for again the foreseeable future. Wednesday afternoons, 3 o'clock Central Time. I know it's kind of a weird time, but people seem to be available at that time. So yeah, for whatever reason, it ends up being the best time for me and a lot of other people. I'm doing an hour-long open forum where you can come in and chat with me live and text me anything, and I will talk about as much stuff as I can fit in an hour, including current events and a lot of stuff much more in real time that way, things that just happened, and also things about the channel and anything you want to talk to me about. We have a lot of fun there. So we're taking the open forum out of this show, but we're still answering some questions at the end of the Omnibus. So there's not going to be any Q&A stuff in this segment anymore. That's all going to be thrown all the way to the end for the letters pages, and I'm just taking Q&A questions on Facebook and Twitter for that, each Omnibus, and then hopefully every now and again, maybe we'll pick a different time and Eric can be with me on the open forum, but I wanted to open you up a little bit too, since we're both really busy with different things and stuff. So if you have something that you're desperately wanting Eric to answer, make sure that you send us a question specifically for the Omnibus. So now, let's go ahead and get right into it with some trailers. So real quick, real briefly, we'll weigh in on this. We completely forgot on the last Omnibus, all those weeks ago, to even mention the Spiderverse trailer, which we had on the list, and for whatever reason I just totally missed. So let's just real quick weigh in on that. Did you have any feelings about it one way or another?
Furious.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Oh, really? Okay.
No, really. Furious.
Oh, okay.
We're making a Miles Morales movie? We're not going to make a Miles Morales movie?
Yeah.
So angry. It's so disrespectful to that character. We're fighting. He's already been in a Spider-Verse thing in the cartoons. Yeah. You're gonna make a Miles Morales movie. Make a Miles Morales movie.
I'm not as heated about it because my assumption is we still get their live action at some point, and
we'll see.
I much more would like to see that live action. You know, like I kind of. This is not what I want, most certainly, and I hate that they announced it as a Miles Morales movie, and like it looks like he's supposed to be the central protagonist, but then it's just, you know, the Spider-Verse thing, which I've never thought made a lot of sense, and I've never really gone into.
Like I could totally see getting like 3 or 4 more trailers that are each from a different Spider-Man's perspective.
But it's weird that it was announced as a Miles Morales movie, and then that teaser is focused primarily on him.
But it's also weird to do a Miles Morales movie where everyone else is going to be a Peter Parker, majoritively. Well, I guess Spider-Gwen and...
Yeah, I mean, there's other things that aren't Peter Parker's, but you're right, but there aren't any alternate Mileses.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, no,
that would be a weird thing to pick for your central protagonist of this movie.
I think the animation looks okay.
It looks fine.
Like, I think it might be fun, but I'm afraid it's not really going to be about very much, except just a real gimmicky novelty for...
This was the perfect way to do Miles, because we're never going to get Miles done right, I don't think, in live action. Peter Parker's death is Miles Morales' Uncle Ben.
Well, yeah.
If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong, and you're not being true to that character.
I don't.
That's what motivates it. That's what makes him be Spider-Man.
He's a different character now.
But that's still his backstory, isn't it?
No.
No.
Well,
what makes him be Spider-Man now?
I don't know.
But he remembers stuff from the Ultimate Universe.
Sort of some stuff. Yeah. It's really flimsy. Like.
Okay.
That's the problem, is that...
Okay, but we're not going back and doing more origin. Like, it's gotten wobbly with continuity, but, like, that's the defining moment of that character's life. That's what makes him do what he does, is This guy died, and I could have been there.
Yeah, but I'm just afraid that's going to be forever forgotten. Like, I think it's like it's unlikely that they'll ever go there.
But how amazing! How amazing could it have been?
Well, yeah, I would like to have seen it too,
with an out-of-continuity animated film.
That? Did you really expect that?
Yes, an out-of-continuity animated film.
I didn't expect
starring Miles Morales. Yeah, open with killing Peter Parker and do your own thing. That would be amazing.
Well, yeah, sure.
That's what I thought this movie was going to be.
When they originally announced it, but once they made it Spiderverse, I
never heard that. Somehow I missed that news until I saw this trailer.
But well, no. I don't know if I knew it until...
Because I've talked to people that was like, yes, we knew this. And I was like, I did not.
All right. I guess what
I just got to the end of that trailer, I'm like, oh no.
It gave me hope that we'll get live-action Miles Morales.
Yeah. But this would have been...
Especially with, like, the Prowler and Homecoming and stuff.
This would have been the best way to do it right, I think. Because we're never going to kill Peter Parker. Maybe we will. I don't know.
I'd rather... Of course, see it in like an ongoing TV show, you know, like in an animated, kind of, spectacular Spider-Man 2 or something.
But it looks fine. Like, it looks good. Like, the animation I think looks good. It doesn't show us much other than letting me know that I'm not getting the movie I thought I was getting.
I'm totally with you. It's not what I wanted. And I can't get real excited about it. But
yeah.
And I'm hearing people that are like, oh, finally we're gonna get Miles Morales on screen. I'm like, yeah, but I don't care as much if it's not his story. Like,
yeah, no, we're not really. But it's still going to be cluttered with Peter Parker.
I'm not as heated about it because I think there's a good chance that we'll get to actually, they'll actually get to him in live action.
Okay.
So I had nothing to say about Solo because I don't think it gave us anything. How did you feel about that teaser?
I think it looks like a really bad movie, and if it didn't say Star Wars on it, everyone would be making fun of it. I think it looks really bad. I think it looks really bland. I think it looks like it could be made by J.J. Abrams. I think it looks bad. That guy as Han Solo is awful. His voice is way too high-pitched. His mannerisms are all off. And they're doing exactly what... Like... There's nothing... It is the worst prequel. It is the... this is the Spice Mines of Kessel, and here's the Kessel Run, and here's this, and here's how Han met Chewbacca. It is literally like if I were to pitch the worst Han Solo movie, it's already that. So I'm not seeing this movie. My rule for Star Wars movies moving forward is I'm no longer excited and gonna go see it, and like the trailer will just get me more excited. You have to blow me away. You have to win me over to come see your movie. I'm not seeing Han Solo. Unless the next trailer is amazing, but we all expected this, right? From the behind the scenes.
Yeah, and like that's a thing that will just be amazing if it can be salvaged, given
if it's coherent and totally consistent.
I like Ron Howard a lot, so I'll see it because I'm curious to see what he does with the Star Wars movie, and it's not the same thing as what happened with Justice League and Whedon, where it's not like he's coming in like in the middle or when it's mostly done. Like he kind of had to start over, and I think that's kind of interesting. Like he had to work with, I'm sure, a lot of the same material and whatever semblance of the script they had.
And then the Entertainment Weekly trailer or the thing came out, and the headline is like the funniest Star Wars movie yet, which immediately tells me, oh, well, you don't understand Han Solo, and you don't know the movie you're making, and you didn't actually change that much. But that trailer doesn't sell that at all. Like, that trailer looks more like the movie I would have thought it would have looked like in the first... Like, there's no comedy in that trailer.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's weird that if it's supposed to be a comedy and they want to make a big deal out of that they don't immediately sell it that way, because even, the first Guardians teaser, it was clear that it was going to be a comedy. It's selling it like we sold Force Awakens, really, which is just... Here's an image, and here's an image, and here's an image.
Which I think is a mistake because...
Together. I think but I think they're also probably trying to compensate for the I don't want to say backlash, but for the fact that everybody knows those directors got fired because they made it too comedic, because it was all too much improv. So they're probably going, well, let's not sell it at least right away as a comedy, because people will be afraid that we made that movie. That's what I think they're probably doing.
Yeah, but don't tell me that you fixed it and made it not a comedy if it's still a comedy. That feels like some kind of false marketing. And it's weird that just a couple of days later we put out an Entertainment Weekly article that says funniest Star Wars movie.
That's just somebody at Entertainment Weekly saying that. Like, I haven't read the article. I don't know where they're
I haven't read the article either.
Like, I don't know how much stock you can take in that until you read the article.
Okay, that's fair.
Where are they getting that?
That's
from.
fair.
I don't know why they're saying
it.
that.
Just, it doesn't look good, and if people go see it, they will go see it because it says Star Wars. I mean, that's basically the only reason I'll go, except I'm curious to see what Ron I'd be
Howard
more
does with
interested
it.
if Ron Howard
It's
did an
not
original space opera movie.
I'm going somewhat begrudgingly. I didn't want that movie in the first place. Like, you got to win me over as hard as you got to win over anybody. But I'm not in your boat. I will go. But like, again, it's curiosity and more than anything, and my expectations are really low.
And we've kind of speculated. We'll get to this in the next Star Wars news.
Yeah.
We're done with the Star Wars stories, right? Like, that kind of seems like where we're going.
I think so, too.
That ship has sailed. This was a failed experiment.
And I think that's a shame.
Yeah, because I really like Rogue One.
Yeah. Well, and I think there are characters that legitimately are deserving of that treatment to, like, really flesh them out, and not in...
Boba Fett did deserve
Boba
this.
Fett deserved it, and not in like a really gimmicky, like, let's go back and just give you the highlights of all the stuff you know already, like you're concerned this is going to be.
The only thing you know about Han Solo, that's what we're doing. Like,
yeah, where it's about about reference humor before it's about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I still don't think we have enough really to go on. Like, you're right that they are making a big deal out of images, but that doesn't mean that's the entire movie. You know what I mean? Like here's the thing you recognize, here's the thing you recognize.
No, but it does tell me that they build a plot around the only things we know about Han Solo's backstory and did not craft an original story.
It doesn't necessarily mean that.
Okay.
Like, just the fact that you got glimpses of that doesn't mean that there isn't a story in the film. Like, and then we don't know how much time it spans. Like,
well, I'm sure there is a story in the film, but I'm saying I think it's just going to be the things we already know about Han Solo. It's going to... Also,
yeah, I mean, I realize you think that, but I don't think you have enough to go on to... Like, just because those images are there, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's all they're doing, does it? Again, you don't know how long the thing is spanning.
Also,
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I kind of think you're right that probably is what it's going to be. But I would have said that before. I would say my guess is that's what they would do. I can't glean that from. Also,
the huge mistake I think they've made with picking Han Solo.
Yeah.
Based on that trailer,
the pick is a bad idea in the first place.
Is that he has to get to the end of this movie and be a scumbag who doesn't care about anybody but money.
Yeah.
He can't have a character arc. That's in A New Hope.
Well, he can't.
I'm not saying he can't be likable, but at the end of this movie, he should be closer to Clint Eastwood than he is like traditional leading.
It just doesn't seem like there's a story there. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah.
So, talking about nothing teasers. What was Venom? What was
They finished shooting 2 weeks ago. They did not have enough footage, special effects-wise, to actually show us a teaser for a Venom movie. So they showed us a teaser for an action movie with some alien goo in it.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I'm not going to say it looks bad or good or anything.
It's a really weird way to go with a reboot of V. Yes? Which, by the way, is getting rebooted.
That's hilarious.
Into an epic film trilogy.
Of course it is. And Laura Vandervoort won't be in it this time, unfortunately. No.
Neither will Monica Baccarin.
Is she in that? I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, no, I knew that.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, what he's referring to is the fact that they're acting like Venom is way more popular than he is. Guys, they have a logo. Their logo is the comic book logo, which is awesome. Like,
yes,
it's really neat that they're doing that.
Cool.
That first poster is really cool. This might be a great movie. I mean, there's every possibility we end up loving this, or at least that it's fun. And it didn't take me much to be won over by the casting.
I'm a little weirded out by who I believe is Cletus Kasady, because I think we know for sure he's the villain.
Yeah, we know Conan.
It looks like he's kind of a cult leader. If the guy doing this and leading people,
and I don't know what that
is, a cult leader.
See, I don't want to read too much into stuff like that. It's 2 seconds of it. Like, I don't know what I'm looking at.
And we get 2 shots of that same guy doing the same thing. So that's why I'm like, is he the villain doing a thing?
Okay, maybe I didn't look at it.
But I also didn't notice the alien goo. You had to tell me about that. I missed that.
Thank God that's there, because otherwise you'd have to, like, there's that and a spaceship. That's it, you know, or what looks like a spaceship. I think if that's all we got, and then the logo is not just a V, and it's actually the Venom logo, it's at least better. Honestly, all you really have to do right now is let people know that there's a Venom movie, and that would help. You know what I mean? Like don't be pretentious about it and act like and do the Batman thing where you just have a logo where you're like, see, we don't even have to tell you what it is, like because when I say pretentious, what I really mean is that's Sony being too big for their britches, and they're upset about the Spider-Man thing, and they want this to be their Spider-Man, and they're upset that they have to work with someone else for Spider-Man to be successful, and so this is my guess, and so they've got to sell Venom almost like he's a bigger deal than Spider-Man. Don't do that.
It would be like if the teaser trailer for Suicide Squad was flashbacks of like Rick Flag in the war, and then someone telling Rick Flag like, "You're the only man that can lead a team," and then it just said Suicide Squad. Like, it tells, if you don't know, it tells you nothing. And if you do know, you're like, why even show me this?
I will say it tells us more if...
It looks like there's going to be a lot of action not in the suit.
Or they're just showing us stuff in the first 15 minutes.
That's true, too.
You're probably right, yeah. I don't know if I'm right about this.
He's in the suit in all those scenes, they just haven't had the CGI.
That's hilarious. I don't know if I'm right about this. What I wanted to say is, I feel like it gives us more of a sense tonally what this is going to be than, like, the Solo trailer did. But then, we've also been told this is supposed to be a dark comedy.
And I forgot about that.
There's no semblance of that. Like
nothing.
To be fair,
this looks like it's a straightforward like action film.
To be fair, it feels like a Venom movie sans the suit. Now, from what little we've gotten, and I said this to you the other day, it looks like a mid-2000s superhero movie. Most certainly, it looks like a Ghost Rider or a...
It's also weird that it looks like a ground-up recreation of Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
And so, like, all of the glimpses, it's not like
Although,
I'm like...
I would do that. Oh, yeah, that's true. Because it's not like you're showing me just comic book things. Like, that's what I would do if you're taking Spider-Man out of it.
Yeah.
It probably should be a ground-up...
Oh, there's no problem with that choice. My issue is selling me a trailer where it's like, little tidbits about this character, and I'm like... You're not selling me at, like...
No, if you're going to do a Venom teaser that's only 45 minutes long, or 45 minutes...
half a movie?
And Sony would be
the people to do it.
To make the 45-minute teaser trailer.
Wait till the trailer drops.
Wait, you guys made an 18-hour film? If, no, he shows you 99% of it. It's this new thing we're trying.
It's out of order. You're not getting spoiled. It's out of order.
If you're going to make a 45-second Venom trailer, or Venom teaser, and you're just going to do quick glimpses, and it's not about, like, we're not supposed to get any semblance of the story or anything, it's got to mostly be, here's the monster doing stuff. It's going to be, wah!
Yeah.
Like, if you had a teaser that was nothing but, wah! And then Carnage, like, being a crazy person and murdering people, we'd all get behind that, you know? But we can't tell what this is yet.
It's like they're really worried it's not going to perform at all, and so they have to tell us about it, like, the second they have any footage.
Well, but that's a little bit fair, because honestly, I had the Green Lantern thing you did with this, where I didn't trust it was even happening until we saw footage. I really did. This whole Spider-Man shared universe without Spider-Man nonsense.
The Black and Silver is never coming out, right? Like, we will never see a trailer
The
for
fact
Black
that there is a trailer for this, I think there's a good chance that that stupid thing actually ends up being
Oh, man.
Maybe it's going to be great. I say that stupid thing because that sounds like the most ridiculous idea. Anyway.
Well, and we'll see what happens if Sony's thing happens.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later, yeah. So, do you... I don't know if you even saw it. Do you have anything to say about the second Jurassic World trailer?
I didn't watch it because I heard it spoils, like, way too much. But I also heard that the first 15 seconds were amazing. You should watch that and then turn the trailer off.
It does what I expected it to. Can I tell you?
Well, based on the context clues of the internet, it's Lost World.
It's dinosaurs off the mainland, yeah, or on the mainland, yeah. But it's not Lost World in this one dinosaur. It looks like it's what I was kind of hoping for. Which
it's a Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. That's what I wanted. So yeah. But weirdly, and I said this on my live show last week, I didn't understand why people were so upset about that first trailer. The more I'm seeing of it, the more I'm a little bit concerned about it. Like, I'm actually not really sure about it. But I think status quo-wise, we might get to where I was hoping for. It doesn't look like a bucket of fun like the first one was. That's the thing I'm a little bit concerned about.
I actually talked to someone who...
I'm afraid people are going to get vindicated on this, and they're going to be like, CCAP, we told you, this is nonsense.
I actually talked to someone who hated both the trailers. And I was like, what is it that makes you hate it? And they were like, well, it looks like they remade the first movie, being Jurassic... They remade Jurassic World... or wanted to remake Jurassic World, couldn't because of the plot of Jurassic World, so then they remade Lost World, the back half of Lost World, and it just looks really bad. And I was like, okay, well, you know. I nothing the trailer for Lost or Jurassic World, so I have no dog in this fight. It looks fine to me.
The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm wondering if this might end up being like a transition movie that we don't need. If you might, and again, I don't have enough to go on. The movie's not out yet, but if I'm right, and they're going to get us to the status quo of we have to figure out how to live in harmony with dinosaurs, maybe you could have just done a time jump and started there, made that the next movie.
Yeah, and if this performs really badly, which I think it has every potential to, because everyone but you and me seems to think this is the worst trailer that's ever been released ever, at least that first one.
And I think Jurassic World did huge guns and broke records, and I think people didn't love it.
People did not love it.
It's kind of interesting that it did super well, but I don't think that it's going to be. It actually will be Lost World all over again, right?
It's entirely lost.
But what were you going to say? Sorry, I thought you were on your way to something, and then I realized that I interrupted.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Let's. Did you get a chance to see the Jessica Jones season 2 trailer?
Yes, I did.
That's exciting.
I'm so excited. Did you know it comes out on March 3rd?
We've got to hurry up and get Punisher done. And by the way, people are still asking me about that. Yes, we are going to have Vince, and we may have Eric. We're not sure how that's going to.
I just don't care.
Eric, the main reason we haven't reviewed it yet is I watched all the way up until the last 2 episodes, and then I was waiting for Eric to catch up, and then I've forgotten too much, and I don't feel like I can talk about it coherently right now. And Vince has been ready for us to talk about it for a month. Look,
I don't care, and I think I should be allowed to not care and not watch one of these. I'm super excited for Jessica Jones. If I have the day off, you won't see me for a day.
Sure.
I'm so excited for Jessica Jones. I just started Altered Carbon. I'm really excited about Altered Carbon. I watched 2 episodes of a Punisher show that's not Punisher running around killing people, and I just don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't need the sophisticated Punisher show. And it's not this bad. It's just not what I want, and I'm having trouble caring. I don't need more political superhero stuff. I'm just... just be a show about a guy that shoots people. That's all I wanted. It's really good from what I watched. I don't care.
It is nice that one of those, starting at the beginning, is getting back to something closer to the sophistication of Daredevil, since that's the world we've been pretending like we've been in, with shows that aren't that.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, I'm glad that one of them at least came close to nailing that again. So, the Deadpool 2 trailer was great.
It's amazing!
It's a lot of fun. So, can I tell you my theory? I have a theory about Deadpool 2. There's something I think it could do.
Do you think it's a secret movie hidden within a movie where there's an X-Force movie and there's a Deadpool movie around the X-Force movie?
No, that's too big. My idea is much smaller than that. My idea is simply about the title. This is still... We have a teaser trailer and we have a trailer.
Still doesn't have a title?
Still doesn't have a title. It is being... Deadpool is the one thing I can think of that can get away with this.
Deadpool 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Hold on. Bear with me. This movie on IMDb and Wikipedia and everywhere is still being called Untitled Deadpool Sequel.
You think it's going to be called Untitled Deadpool Sequel?
I think it's
That'd be amazing!
I think that's possible.
Oh, that'd be amazing! Oh, that'd be so funny. Okay, so let me tell you what I love about this trailer. And what I hope they do moving forward with the rest of the trailers for this movie and also any more trailers with this franchise. They have a device that allows them to sell a movie and spoil almost nothing.
Yeah.
Because you just cut to Ryan Reynolds messing around and it's hilarious.
And no one's going to be upset that it's not in the trailer for the movie.
Yeah, everyone knows Deadpool's not playing with dolls in the movie. It's so good. I also like making fun of the...
Yeah, we're not going to see the Bob Ross scene in the movie. We all know that.
I also like the making fun of the unfinished CGI in the trailer that I didn't even notice until he freeze-framed it.
Yeah,
it was
really funny.
I love it.
Removing a mustache. That's hilarious. And it's fun that they're being that timely. That movie just came out last year.
And it really puts me at ease. It looks like this is a really serious movie with Deadpool in it.
Yeah.
Everything about Cable looks like they're playing it 100% straight, and I'm so excited.
Well, I think it's going to be 2 movies simultaneously, potentially.
Hidden within the other.
We
also know Shatterstar's apparently in a blink and you miss it scene. We're getting him.
Where they bring us, I didn't realize that. Where they get us really into Cable's world, and it's super serious and heavy, and then you get sucked into that, but at the same time, you've got Deadpool just making fun of how insanely serious all of that is. I think it's going to be 2 movies
Which is basically what the Deadpool Cable series was.
Yeah.
So
that looks like a lot of fun.
I'm
and
super
Cable
excited.
looks great.
Cable looks great.
And I know he's not a character anybody cares about in comics, but we could suddenly really like him, you know?
Yep. Nope, it looks great. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it was really funny. And I think maybe they'll give you something closer to what you wanted this time.
I kind of think so.
And the rest of that trailer was just about making sure that I think...
Also, remember, this movie is not by the director of the first film. It's by the other director of John Wick 1.
That's fun. That's really interesting.
And it looks like, and I'm excited about that.
But what I was going to say is, I think one of the main goals of that trailer was just to make sure that everybody that loves that first movie knew that their favorite characters were coming back.
Yeah. Which is the thing we talked about when we did the commentary that we were a little worried about. We were like, is there going to be time to actually develop Blind Al?
It wasn't.
I'm still not sure if there will be, but she'll be there.
It wasn't even a given that those characters would be more than cameos this time, and I think they're promising as they won't be. So hopefully that's true, and that'll be great. The last one, which I watched one time and don't remember much of, so you may have to run point on this, but does anybody else realize there's a Dark Phoenix trailer? Does anybody know about this?
No one's. You didn't know until I told you. It looks like a Transformers movie, right? Like that's what it looks like. It's like overlit and like shot like. It looks like a Michael Bay movie. Maybe not Transformers. It looks like a Michael Bay movie.
Like Ninja Turtles or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not Michael Bay. I get that.
Platinum Dunes. It looks like a Platinum Dunes film.
I didn't immediately get that sense from it. Like, I don't know that to me it looked that different from Apocalypse.
Okay.
The way it was shot, but.
Yeah. No one like.
I just can't believe we already have something and nobody seemed to be talking about it. Maybe they are now, I don't know, but...
Every time there's any comic book news, it shows up on my Facebook feed like 4 times from 4 different sources. I stumbled on the trailer.
That's weird.
No one cares.
Is it that no one cares, or is it that it was a really weird sleeper drop?
You don't sleeper drop something that looks this boring.
If you're going to sleeper, like it's this massive...
Yeah, if you're going to sleeper drop it, it has to look amazing.
Here's what's weird about it. It doesn't play like a teaser trailer to me. It plays like a TV spot for a movie we've been advertising for a long time.
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
And how do you have a thing that looks like that? Again, I wouldn't be complaining about this if it were a teaser trailer, but they're showing us... It's a lot of quick cut showing a lot of stuff, actually. Like... We could probably break this down if we really felt like it, but I would have to look at it again.
Yeah.
But like, how is McAvoy not in that trailer? Like, just stuff like that was really weird to me.
Jennifer Lawrence is.
Yeah.
We also have the villain, who I still don't know who she is. We know she's some kind of shapeshifter person. Yeah, it's weird.
Well, let's talk about some news bits.
Sure.
About some articles. So this is in the order that I wrote it down from my notes, going all the way back to Christmas. So sometime, maybe a day or two after the first couple things on here, one of us wanted to talk about. You said something about Super Sentai finally doing a series that's like a team fighting another team.
Yes.
And I thought you might want to talk about that.
They're doing a series where there's a team fighting another team. It sounds cool.
Isn't that exciting?
And I really hope that we don't skip it.
I hope we adapt.
Because it seems like we skip all of the more ambitious or like... Not ambitious. All of the more weirder ones, we tend to... Like, we skip the one where they all have, like, leather costumes. And then we skip the one where it was built all around trains. I really hope we don't skip this one, because we could finally do... Imagine a Green Ranger... A Green with Evil season.
Yeah. Well, and especially because... You know, early on, but I think going all the way through, we have a tendency to come up with excuses and cheats to have not just Evil Six Rangers in shows that didn't have one, but also like whole teams of Evil Rangers, and we always have to make the suits, and sometimes they're crappy, and like this time you can do that and you have all the footage for it. It would be really unfortunate if we wasted that. It'd be missed potential.
Now, the actual Sentai sounds a little bit more complex than that, so it's 2 Ranger teams that are at odds with each other.
Right. Sure, but we can do anything with that footage.
One of them is cops. I forget what the other ones are. But one of them's cops, one of them's something else. And they're at odds with each other. But they're still monsters. Like, there's still
cops and robbers?
Yeah, maybe. But there's also still, like, going to be a monster villain. Like, it seems like we're going to have...
a three-pronged kind of...
Yeah, it seems like we're going to have a standard Power Ranger show, or a Super Sentai show, but instead of one team of Rangers, you have 2 that are in conflict with each other, also stopping the...
And each of them is a good guy team that wants to stop the bad guy?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what it sounds like.
That sounds like Power Rangers with something akin to intrigue.
Yeah.
That could be really cool.
That sounds really cool.
So, I also thought you might want to talk about this. You mentioned to me that Marvel's getting the Conan license back.
Marvel's getting the Conan's license back.
Do we know anything about what they're doing with it?
No.
Okay.
We don't even know who's on it, they announced Marvel's going back to Conan, which annoys me, because now I have to go buy all the Dark Horse Conans before they go out of print. Which I'm already doing another franchise I didn't find out until after it went out of print. He likes the Kurt Busiek stuff. Like, I've always wanted to read that. Conan's one of those things where I'm like, I will eventually buy this and read this. It's just not a top priority. Well, now it's a priority, and it's interesting that Marvel's finally going back to... Because Star Wars was not a sign of Marvel going back to licensed works. Because they were now owned by Disney, it made sense.
No, but now there's a second one.
Yeah, well, and there was also they've been doing the Disney stuff.
You know, to go back to stuff that they haven't had, licenses they haven't had since the 70s and 80s.
Which makes me wonder if they might be interested in getting some of that old stuff back.
Yeah. And if they might try to relaunch things that they probably already have the license for that were big back then. Like, could you see Micronauts come back and things like that?
Well, right now IDW has all the Hasbro toys.
Oh, that's right.
So Micronauts,
I forgot Macronauts. That'd be a different thing. I forgot Micronauts had, or was a toy thing, and was part of that. Well, I forgot all about that.
No, the big one, I think they...
I'm sure Marvel would love to have Ron the Space Knight back.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The big one I think they would try to get back is Ron the Space Knight. I'd love it if they brought back Shogun Warriors. They have to bring back the old robots. They could just make the new robots Shogun Warriors. What I want now is I want them to do what they used to do. I want them to take a toy with no backstory, and I want them to make a universe that's complex and interesting with toys.
Sure.
I want that. I really want that. But no, it's exciting that Marvel's doing licensed stuff again. I'm interested to see who... It's Jason Aaron, right? Like, Jason Aaron's going to write Conan. Like, that's a gimme.
That's... or Cullen Bunn. It'll be him or Bunn.
It won't be Bunn because he already did a run. I think he's the one writing it currently.
It could still be him.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but of course he has a run on Conan.
Yeah. People hate it. Apparently he makes Conan cry more than once. Almost many times.
I can now make a big list of things that Cullen Bunn has not worked on, and it would be...
About the same?
It would be about the same, yeah. It would be maybe a little bit smaller. Eric, I think one of the most exciting new franchises going on right now is John Wick. And
yes,
the announcement that that's getting a TV show, I think, is just the coolest and smartest possible move. So initially, when we heard about this, we thought they were just like, screw the movie thing. We have a really complex story to tell, and we have a lot of places to go. We'll just take Keanu Reeves and put him in a TV show. That's not what's going on. Apparently, The Hotel is getting its own show.
The show is, I think it said right now is being called The Continental, but I'm not sure if that's the official title.
That's what they call it. It's a good title.
Yeah.
But apparently, The Continental, The Hotel, for the hitmen is supposed to, for the assassins, is supposed to get its own TV show. But Keanu Reeves will be a recurring character in it, and it's going to be on Stars. Oh boy. Just what else can you say? Oh boy.
Do you think it'll be a prequel? Where, like, it's back when John was working?
I thought we looked into this and we found out that it was actually supposed to be simultaneous with the movies moving.
It might be.
But maybe not.
I'm not sure if they actually announced it. But that's also cool.
I think even if it was a prequel, it could be a story worth telling. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I'm a little sick of prequels, but it's more interesting if it's Here's the thing. I think
because it'd be a prequel that's world building.
Yeah, in informing a world that we're seeing unfolding, as opposed to, well, we can't go forward. All we can do now is go back, which is what we tend to do with prequels right now.
And it is being, I think, show ran by the guy that's doing the movie, or he's involved. The writer of the movie
we
and the director of the movie are involved.
Continuity.
Yeah. No, it's going to be what we all thought S.H.I.E.L.D. was going to be. That's what it sounds like, and I'm really excited about that.
Indiana Jones 5 is still officially happening and is supposed to start shooting in 2019 to come out in 2020. I could not care less about this.
Okay, here's why I care a little. If this movie is good, it will create a pattern, at least as far as public perception, where you have Raiders people like. Temple of Doom, which I do really like, but most people do not like. You have Last Crusade people like, you have Kingdom Crystal Skulls people don't like. This could be a good one. This could be a good one.
Yeah. But I don't want... I want the more series, elderly Indiana Jones. I never wanted that.
I want the series to go off on a higher note than Crystal Skull. I hope they kill him.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a big heroic death.
My thing is, and understand that I don't have a big dog in this fight. I was never a big fan of that franchise. But I love Last Crusade a lot. But
me too. It's my favorite.
The thing is, I don't have the hope you do that it goes out on a high note, because I don't count Kingdom Crystal Skull. I have a hard time even thinking of that as a movie.
I think we might see a weird, like, soft reboot where this movie starts and we never mention Shia LaBeouf and he's not married. Although he can still be married, you don't know.
Sure, but I mean, like, those other 3 movies, while they remembered things that happened in them, they were just adventures in the same universe with a character that didn't appear to age. It just feels like that 4th movie was like a misstep and a thing that just doesn't even hardly count.
It is weird to be in the 50s now instead of...
That's why I really wish we wouldn't make another one, because that would make it so much easier to just write that movie on.
I'd like to think that they learned their lesson.
I mean, I don't trust that, but even if they do, I still have fundamental issues with keeping Harrison Ford. I have fundamental issues with it.
It should have been Chris Pratt.
You'll never change my mind on that.
It should have been Chris Pratt.
I mean, I know you're not trying to, but no one will ever change my mind on that.
I mean, I'm not super excited, but I love Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it.
Well, there you go. Here's the thing.
Take my money. I am already buying your product.
Here's another thing that I will watch for, I guess, similar reasons, only because I don't know how to look away from a Superman prequel, apparently. Metropolis, the TV show, has been announced. And
do we just want to go 50-50 on this DC streaming thing?
Yeah, let's do that. Sure. Yeah. We just share an account. Yeah, that sounds good.
Because I'm in for Young Justice. I'm in for the Titan show if it's good. You can watch Metropolis all you want.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're watching the pilot with me. You're at least watching the pilot.
Yeah, I'll watch the pilot. Because it could be amazing. A Lois Lane centered show could be amazing.
It could. But it's being run by the Gotham guys,
which
makes you think. It's really hard not to think that they've learned their lesson from Gotham, and that they're not going to just do all the Superman stuff before Superman gets there.
That's so much funnier. That's so much funnier.
But it is. But a couple of things before we even talk about what that show might be. I don't like the idea of 2 Superman prequels happening simultaneously.
No, not connected.
It's weird to have, because Krypton's going to be on here pretty soon, and it's weird that you're going to have 3 Superman shows on. 3 Superman shows on! I mean, that's how much superheroes have taken over. At the same time, and, I'm sorry, I just remembered something that... Give me a second. I just remembered something that I have to talk about later that I totally forgot to write on the list. And if I don't do it now, I'll totally forget to do it. Okay. Anyway. There we go.
Pretend to juggle to entertain the audience.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. No, if I didn't do that, that would not end up happening. You're welcome, people watching the rest of the Omnibus. Anyway, no, I think it's unfortunate that we're going to have a show called Metropolis when that's what the back end of Smallville should have been called. That drives me crazy. I don't need another Superman prequel that's before he's Superman, but at least he won't be in it, apparently, I guess, is the idea. Right? Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. So, I mean, like Lois and Lex, and like, I love Lex Luthor. I'd love to see another really good Lex Luthor. Like, sure. I'm not saying there's not a show there. I just don't think those are those don't immediately strike me as the right guys to do it. And isn't it really interesting that the Smallville guys wanted to make a Bruce Wayne show, and they couldn't make a Bruce Wayne show, so they made Smallville. And the Gotham guys wanted to make a Batman show, and they got to make a Batman show, and then they went, whatever, we can also do Superman. I just think that's really funny.
Well, and this is the trend of, oh, you can write Batman? Here's Superman. Oh, you don't do that as well. That's weird. Again and again and again.
But maybe the bar is so lowered with Gotham that they're like, well, you guys aren't great at Batman. Maybe you can do Superman.
It's because it worked out once with Superman animated series, right? Like, that is why we do this. Because it worked out once really well. It worked out
Honestly, I don't think this has anything to do with Batman and Superman. I think it's you guys made a superhero show
without any superheroes.
With the name of the town. I think that's all it is.
Okay, so there are 2 ways I see this show. One is the show...
I think it would be really funny if it was in Gotham continuity. Now, it won't be. That would be amazing.
So...
And they're right next to each other!
There are 2 ways I could see the show going. Or 2 ways I want this show to go. Mm-hmm. One is... I love Lois Lane. She is one of the best female characters in... She's one of the best supporting characters of any character's, like, lineup.
Yeah.
The idea of a Lois Lane show, especially going into stuff that like John Byrne came up with and we built on here and there, where like she has a previous relationship with Lex Luthor. You could see Lex Luthor start to take over Metropolis, and like there's a really interesting show. And for like the superhero stuff, you can do things like Inner Gang, maybe even something like Toy Man.
But do you trust it?
No, of course not.
Go to space stuff. And
no, of course not. So that's the one ideal show. The other ideal show is that it is Gotham in Metropolis, and we have
not just Inner Gang. the main the main antagonistic force for that show should be Cadmus.
Yeah,
most certainly.
Yeah, you can have the
super science. That's cool. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing is I want a show where Superman does not appear ever. That like Gotham by the end of season 2,
all the rogues.
But yeah, you're like, well, who else can they do? They already did Doomsday, Parasite, Toyman, Brainiac. Like, I want that show. I want the show where Lois Lane stops all of them.
They do Cyborg Question Mark Man, and they do Steel, and they do Eradicator.
No, of course it's Cyborg Lois Lane, right?
Question Mark Man.
Like Cyborg Lois Lane?
Yeah.
That'll just be her name. No, it'll be a guy. That'll just be his name. He'll just call himself Cyborg Lois Lane.
Or Lois Lane becomes a superpowered superhero before Superman ever gets there.
Yeah, whatever she calls herself in Whatever Happened to Man Tomorrow. Yes. No, I want that show. I want Lois Lane to stop Brainiac, Doomsday. Like, I want that show. It'd be amazing.
The thing is, you can't do the same thing you did with Gotham that ultimately, for those of us that have enjoyed it, started to work, but only when they fed in, when they really leaned into it, which is it's a dark, morbid comedy. You don't want that with Superman, first of all. But second of all, I don't know what the Superman equivalent of that would be. Like if it's not dark, but it's still sort of parody. Like, I don't know what that is.
It would be something like if Lois and Clark leaned even harder into the, like, over-the-top romantic comedy kind of a thing, right? Like, that's
Except this would be romantic comedy with Lex Luthor? Like, what would that even be? Like,
oh my god, that'd be amazing.
No, the only way the show works is if it's really dead serious, and
you give it to Brian Fuller.
Yeah, I mean, these don't seem to be the guys, but maybe they get lucky they did learn their lesson with Gotham. They're just...
Or they're just wrong for Gotham?
Yeah, sure, where they didn't know what to do with that.
Right for Gotham.
But yeah, it should be a... It should be a newspaper drama.
Yeah.
I wish it were a period piece. I wish we could set this like in the 80s or something. Or it could be out of time like Gotham is. That could work too.
Yeah, where newspapers are still a thing.
Sure. Yeah. And they just don't.
I mean, newspapers are still a thing, but you know what I mean.
But people care about print.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be about investigative reporting. You know, that's what that show should be. So apparently, there's been a Super Mario Brothers movie in the works. An animated film at Illumination for the DreamWorks people. I guess it's DreamWorks for a couple of years, and they're only just now telling us about it. And Miyamoto's been working really closely with them this whole time, and they're only just now talking about it. What's weird is, I guess he brought it up in like a Q&A thing somewhere, and what's weird is it's still not a done deal. It's still not for sure going to happen. The way
Miyamoto does not seem to care about things like that. He would just say whatever he's thinking.
Yeah, the way he's talking, but it's weird that he kept it under his hat for 2 years. The way he's talking about it is, and who knows if this is just like if this is spin or if this is true. But the way Miyamoto's talking about it is
poorly translated.
They've been he's been talking to somebody there for all this time, and they've been working on a script, and they haven't ever been super happy with the story they've come up with, and they just keep monkeying with scripts. And he says both of them want to make sure that it's good and they get it right, and if they are never happy with it, they're just not going to make it. That's the way he's talking about it. And if that's the kind of integrity they have, then that's wonderful. But hopefully that's really what's going on. Because it would be really sad to hear that, and then 2 or 3 years later the movie comes out, and it's Minions. And that's the thing I'm a little bit concerned about.
Yeah, no, because the initial announcement, I was like, oh, no!
Yeah.
Although, you know what they are perfect for? Wario. Like, they can make a Wario movie.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Sure. Yeah, it's just that's not a character that immediately has any character substance, and I think it sounds like they're fumbling over that.
I think you could.
Just like, how do we come up with a story to tell it together? Like what is Mario's personality? You know, and like
he's fun. He is the most patient man in the world.
But see, you have to glean all of that from just what little story we've had in games and gameplay stuff, and like you have to be kind of tongue in cheek about it. Like if you. And this is what I would do with it, but I don't know that that's what if they would think to do it that way. But yeah, like you look at if everything happens in Mario games, what would that guy have to be like? And that's what you would write.
I want an absurd epic. I want something.
Oh yeah, of course.
I want something that is legitimately a true epic, but also like does the weird thing that sometimes seems to be like plumbers are just a different thing in the Mushroom Kingdom. Like, plumbers are like the knights of the Mushroom Kingdom. Like, I want that movie. Where, like, it's just, like, a genuine, like, epic, and just has all these weird and anachronistic, like, we're not gonna talk about, but it's so weird. I want Chain Chomps as dogs, like, I just...
What I want is a Mario game fully realized with a real honest-to-God story. Like, if that game had cutscenes, and it was actually story-driven, and then you played side-scrolling levels, what would that look like? So I want 8 worlds, and I want warp zones, and I want all of that.
I don't know if you can do that in a film structurally,
but I'd love to see it done.
Yeah,
just like, what would that be? But I think you could, like a big Odyssey. Like, Mario has 8 worlds he has to go to. Like, you could do that.
Yeah, you'd have to run through some of them, but yeah,
sure.
Montage like three or four of them.
Maybe not. I mean, you're just thinking 3 acts. You're just thinking, like, you can't possibly put.
Well, no, I'm thinking like a 90-minute children's film.
Well, sure.
But
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you've seen plenty of big, like, you know, animated epics or children's things and stuff where we go to multiple locations. Like,
that's true. But I guess I'm also thinking, like, a boss, and, like, everyone ends in a castle. Like, I guess I'm thinking, like, doing a Mario game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think...
you could go through 8 landscapes and get to the castle at the end, but I was thinking, like, yeah, you'll be landscape for 3 levels, and then you'll get...
well, yeah, I mean, I don't think you can be that literal about it. I'm just saying, I want 8 worlds. I think that would be really cool.
No, that would be really cool.
Alrighty.
Don't make it an origin story.
So we've got... Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. we've got character designs now for Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm real kind of blah on that.
I think they look really bad.
Really?
Well,
it'll be interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that show is animated and what the context of it is. Because I mean, to be fair, I didn't like the designs for 2012 at all, and that ended up being a great show. I'm not expecting this to be a great show, but I didn't expect that to be either. So.
We flipped the personalities of Raphael and Leonardo for no reason, and they all have different weapons?
See, you gotta be careful, because you haven't seen the show yet. So you say for no reason. I think there could be a perfectly legitimate reason for doing that. Have I told you my theory with that?
No.
Okay, my theory is... So, this is supposed to be, like, the youngest we've ever seen the Turtles, where they're almost pre-teen Ninja Turtles. What if the idea is they start in those roles, and they have to get to the roles we know?
I think that would be weird for Raphael. And also, I've seen this attempted once before in Wolverine the X-Men.
Sure.
And what they did was...
I think it'll be good.
They made Cyclops a sad loner.
Yeah.
And they made Wolverine. And so there was no dynamic flip. He was just also in charge of the X-Men, but he was the exact same character. I worry about something like that.
See, the thing is, it reads like character swaps, but I want to see what it actually watches like. Because I think it could be... It's possible that it's more that just, like... Raphael is, like, the most alpha of the group and seems to be the obvious choice for leader, but he ultimately ends up being too hot-headed, and that doesn't make sense. And Leonardo has too much growing up to do before he can be the leader. And I think it could be that.
I also have very little hope for this show because it's supposed to be aiming for a younger demographic than the 2012 show, which is, like, 6-year-olds, and so it just might not be for me at all.
No, it might not be for us at all. But that doesn't necessarily tell us anything about the caliber of the storytelling. What it's aimed at versus, like, the way they write their stories, it doesn't necessarily tell us anything.
I don't know if I've ever seen a show aimed at, like, 5-year-olds that...
You're throwing too low. I don't agree with that. I think it's more like 2012 was aimed at like 12-year-olds, and this will be aimed more like 9 or 10-year-olds. It doesn't look like a baby show. Like.
It also doesn't look toyetic, just based on those designs. Like,
no, I agree with that. No, and that's my biggest disappointment because I didn't feel like the last ones were so much either, and the toys are great. I mean, they did a great job with that and translating that. But I don't think Playmates is going to be able to do to market those the way they marketed the last one.
No, I think this is going to be a bust as far as
and they could lose a lot of money if they're not careful.
Yeah, they
need to not make a gazillion toys like they did last time.
Based on those designs, they should wait and see how those sell.
Yeah. Most certainly.
But I'm interested. I'll try the first episode. I'll see what it's like.
I'm with you. I don't expect it to necessarily be for us, but
I appreciate that it's Rise with an S and not a Z. Because that wasn't a given.
Really? With a Z?
Yeah, to look cool and hip and edgy.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm with you. That would have been really weird, but yeah, I've never seen that. We use that word all the time. Like we love putting Ryzen titles.
Yeah, but based on those designs, I think this show could have done a Z.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised.
And they'd be turtles.
I'm surprised.
As well.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm surprised the word extreme is not in that show. That's true. So let's talk a little bit about Bendis going to Superman.
Yeah,
we haven't done that.
Which
yet.
we get to do because if we'd done the video earlier, it would have just been Bendis going to DC. Bendis is going to Superman. He's right.
No, I think we talked about that. I think we did it before. It would have been about Bendis in the hospital, or maybe we also talked about that. I can't remember anymore. But
no, I thought we did. I thought we finished the Omnibus and like the next day it was announced.
Maybe that is
Bendis,
what happened.
I don't think we talked about Bendis going to DC at all.
Maybe we mentioned it on the on the Patreon show. I'm not sure.
Maybe
because I know we talked about it on camera somewhere.
That's possible.
Anyways,
I don't know. This needs to be a real boost for Bendis.
Yeah.
He cannot show up on 2 Superman books and give the pacing and caliber that he has been giving the past couple of years in Marvel. He feels burnt out. Not that those books aren't good, but
they're slow and meandery, and some of them you just really lose interest and you don't care because you don't trust that they'll ever.
And I really
he's
don't,
leaving, and so they won't.
And I really don't want that on 2 books at the same time.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping that this is the early issues of his X-Men.
But it's also, but Bendis is good at starting things, and so like, I bet you.
So we won't be able to tell.
It will be great for a year, if not 2.
And those first issues will be dynamite.
Yeah.
But I think this could really be a second win for him.
I think so too. I hope so.
That's my big hope. It'll be interesting to see what that Man of Steel mini is.
Yeah.
And if he's like fleshing out origin at all, which would be smart right now.
I listened to his Word Balloon interview.
Did he talk about that?
He says that he adores what the Superman books have been doing, and that that he's not ignoring them. He's just looking at a different aspect. But he also said that
that could mean anything. But also, I still think he could flesh some of that stuff out because we blended. Adored it. It's like
it's him and Suntress. They're both talking about how great the Superman books are.
I mean,
he specifically said Mr. Oz was a great storyline.
I don't agree with that, but all right. I'd love to hear what he has to say about Booster Shot.
I would love that too.
Which I'm probably not going to talk about today because I have so much else in the Omnibus. But
what I thought was really interesting was he talked because Word Balloon podcast dropped like 2 days ago. And I listened to that.
I haven't had a chance to do that.
And what was really interesting was he said he was talking to Dan DiDio about the Man of Steel mini or whatever. And like he was just kind of like feeling out for like ideas and stuff. Yeah. Where like, has this been done? Like is this an aspect that you guys have already touched on? Like this and this. And he goes, have you ever done a story about why this? Like, he didn't say what it was, just why this. And he's like, no one's ever told that story. Why is that?
Yeah.
And he said that's going to be the crux of Man of Steel.
Cool.
So whatever it is, it's something that apparently has never been explored before in Superman. So
I hope it's not going to feel like we just did a miniseries to make a big deal out of Bendis, but it easily could have just been his first arc. Like,
yeah.
There needs to be a reason it's called that. Because that means something to people.
Well, and he did talk a bit about John Byrne's Man of Steel, so
yeah, so he's thinking about that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to just randomly be titled that. It seems like it's...
I'm excited. That's the character I thought they'd give him. That was what I was hoping for.
If nothing else of Bendis on Superman works, I am convinced Bendis will be the writer to give us the Great Clark Kent story, the Great Clark Kent reporter story.
Yeah, and I think he could make Lex cooler than he's been in Rebirth.
Yes.
Because I think he's the right guy for street-level Lex Luthor. I don't want to see Bendis necessarily do a bunch of Krypton stuff.
His Brainiac and his Metallo and his Parasite, these will all be underdeveloped villains. His Lex will probably be wonderful.
Yeah.
Or just his Kingpin, which will be wonderful.
We'll be like, how come Lex put on 50 pounds just because Bendis started writing?
He's been fat before. He was fat in Man of Steel.
He has been. No, I know that. That would be the reason.
Do you want to talk about the imprint?
Yeah, sure. I meant to bring that up. Go ahead.
Okay, so we know that he's doing the Jinx World books, which some people seem to think is an imprint. It's not. It's just he's bringing his creator-owned books over, and they're all under an imprint called Jinx World. So that's just its powers. It's Scarlet. It's all of his creator-owned stuff, and he's going to launch some new creator-owned stuff too. That's all that is. But there's a second imprint that is apparently going to be like Young Animals, where it's him and some other writers, and Wildstorm. Like, Wildstorm was also an imprint like this. I guess it's just not in continuity like Young Animals, but people are only mentioning Young Animals. It's going to be him and some other writers doing a line of books. I'm hoping he does the crime books.
Yeah.
I want him to do, like, The Question and, like, The Creeper.
It should be just a bunch of detective stuff.
Yeah, do the underground crime. Just do an intergang book. Like, just, I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm going to be really worried if it's like, Bendis is heading up the New Gods line of books.
That would be weird.
He thinks he can do those things, and he just can't. Nemo.
I mean, yeah, I think he's better at occult than he is at that kind of stuff, but he's not great there either all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, he needs to do the Brubaker thing. Just be like, look, I'm the guy that does the crime books. I'm going to do the crime books.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really good at that. That's my bread and butter. But
Rucka is kind of like that too.
Yeah, but Rucka also knows that, I think, more than Bendis does. Yeah. Rucka tends to stay to the crime and spy fiction.
Yeah.
And he will venture out and try other things, and usually will go, yeah, it didn't work out that great.
Okay, I tried that.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, except for Wonder Woman. He writes that well, but...
So let's talk about, switching gears, let's talk about the announcement for another... for another ongoing series of Star Wars movies, apparently run
a second
by
trilogy,
or
a third trilogy.
First of all, we don't know that it's a trilogy.
I thought they said trilogy.
They said film series. That's all I read. If they said trilogy anywhere, I didn't read that. Okay. I read film series. We don't know what that means. Okay. We just know that it's multiple films.
Okay.
But made by the Game of Thrones producers.
Yes. So we already know that the guy that made Last Jedi has been given a trilogy of films to make that is, aside from the... What they said was the Skywalker.
The Skywalker, and they're still calling it that, the Skywalker saga, even though we don't have Skywalker anymore. Yeah.
Okay. So my theory is this is how we finally get to do. Because my big question when we started all of this was, what do you do after Episode 9?
Yeah.
How do you kill time so that you can't make 10 2 years later. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You conclude a trilogy and you just, like, are we just going to do Star Wars ongoing? I think that they're going to do this trilogy and then the Game of Thrones producers series, and those will be the Star Wars movies we get for at least the next 6 years after Episode 9, and we are done with a Star Wars story. I think that's what we're doing.
And we're not going to launch...
Which explains why we haven't announced any more Star Wars stories.
Here's the only issue I have with that theory, which is it doesn't seem to track with the thing Kathleen Kennedy said a while back about moving forward with those movies and getting past the Skywalker thing, but we still have like adventures with the characters you've come to love from the new movies.
I don't think she ever gave a timeline for that.
Well, that's true.
Maybe the assumption is just...
Yeah, but Eric, to keep people under contract for 6 years without using them? That seems unlikely.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's Star Wars. They just assume they'll come back, I guess.
Don't you think it's possible that they're thinking about like a 2-a-year model?
Oh God, I hope not.
I mean, I think that's also really possible, and I think
we did that
right
video
now
on...
where we are. I feel like that could be a real big mistake for them. I feel like they're in a place where it's really hard to see what the interest in Star Wars is going to be like moving forward. And folks, I'm not just saying that because we didn't like the last one.
Well, no, we did a video on Can You Get Burned Out Star Wars. Go look at the comments. They're almost all I'm already burned out on Star Wars.
And this was before that movie.
This was before that movie came out. People were already saying
very excited about that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like. I think putting the Han Solo movie out 6 months after the last one is a big mistake. I think...
and I think it'll backfire. I think the theory is maybe that it will build even more anticipation for the next movie. With the reaction that movie got, the really split reaction that film got, I don't know.
Especially if people don't like Solo, because then even though that's a flashback movie, because they probably want to think, well, those aren't going to affect the next thing too much, and you don't want them to be like Warner Brothers.
And we're higher on Rogue One than most people were.
You don't want them to be like Warner's, where they just make all their decisions immediately. They make like gut reaction choices immediately after whatever the last thing was, without really thinking about their line moving forward, but you still, I think Star Wars is different than DC superheroes in that if Wonder Woman is really successful, Or like like if Suicide Squad is really not successful, that's not necessarily going to make people not go see Wonder Woman. Not necessarily. Like if BVS doesn't work, people won't see Justice League because it's clearly a clear-cut sequel to that.
Yeah.
The problem is when people see, especially because we're not fully used to yet, we have all these different Star Wars movies that take place at different time periods and aren't all interconnected. People don't see Han Solo; they see Star Wars. I mean, they do see Han Solo, but you see what I'm saying? Like the name Star Wars and the fact that every movie has that in the title of it, whatever the last one did is going to affect the next one more than. Do you agree with that?
I think Episode 9 could be a really rude awakening. So Last Jedi is super divided. Let's just say, we liked Rogue One a lot. A lot of people were meh on Rogue One, if not bad.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let's say you don't like Rogue One.
And it didn't matter, now to be fair, it didn't fully matter what that did too much for the next one because Force Awakens was really successful and people wanted to see a sequel to that. Yeah.
But, so let's say you don't like Rogue One.
Sure.
Let's say you are in the half of the country that didn't like Last Jedi. And then Solo's as bad as it sounds. 3 strikes, you're out. I think they could have made, for a lot of people, 3 bad movies in a row. And I think Episode 9 could do really bad. I think it's possible that,
at least relative to its budget,
because we both loved Rogue One, didn't like Last Jedi. If Solo's as bad as it looks, that's not 3 in a row. But I think for some people that this could be a 3 in a row situation where it's like, yeah, you know what, I'm done. I gave you guys 3 chances.
We also
I didn't even like Force Awakens that much, but
we also really don't know what their expectations and projections are with these things because you have to think about merchandising and how much they must have lost on Rogue One. Like, I don't know how much money they need these things to do right
And are you seeing that much Han Solo merchandise?
Well, not yet.
Which is also a thing, right? Like, no. We were already merchandising Rogue One by this point. We have enough time to take down the Last Jedi merchandise to put up the Han Solo merchandise 6 months later.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure we started.
I don't remember seeing Rogue One stuff until we were getting closer to Christmas.
Well, no, I don't mean this far of the year. I mean this far out from the movie. So like,
no, that's what I'm talking about. Rogue One was a Christmas release.
Right, we are 3 months away from Han Solo.
No, we're not.
Yeah, it's a May. March, April, May.
Is it in May?
Yeah, it's in May.
Oh, see, I keep thinking of that it's like 6 months from now. I don't know why I keep thinking
No, it's in May.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're 3 months out. By October, we were seeing...
Yeah, no, of course, sure.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is, this is a bad move merchandising-wise. They only have time to take down the Last Jedi stuff and put up the Solo stuff.
No.
This is a huge mistake.
But they might be thinking, we're gonna try to recoup costs by not really putting out that much on Solo.
That's possible, too. That is possible.
You'll probably see like a toy line, and I mean, you might see a million things again, but I kind of don't think you will. I don't think they won't be Rogue One ridiculous because they can't afford to be.
Yeah. Or they'll get cocky and they'll be like, just put a bunch of like Han Solo and Chewbacca. Like, we know you know these characters and you'll want to buy Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Lando things.
I like what you said earlier about the comments we got from that GNN about Star Wars burnout because, and I mean, like that's just a small subset even of our viewership, so you can't take too much stock in that. But we talked to a lot of people. I feel like there is a lot of concern about that, and I think at the very least it might be a mistake to keep announcing things. And I know I say that with DC all the time, but I feel like even if all these things actually really do come into fruition, I'm afraid that right now, we're only 3 Star Wars movies out from when they got the license and they started putting them out. And obviously, Force Awakens was a really big deal because we didn't know if we would ever get Star Wars again. And people already feel like they're being sold to the point where you're just expected to go because everyone goes to Star Wars, and people don't like feeling like that. And so, like, I'm afraid that just the announcements are going to make people go, God, there's just all these things I have to buy now. You know what I mean? That's kind of thing I'm concerned about. Like even if it all ends up being great, and even if they, for where we're sitting right now, turn the whole ship around, I just don't know if I would be announcing those things yet.
Yeah. Well, especially without any context. We have now been announced 2 mystery multi-film
series.
Yeah.
Like at the very throw us something.
Yeah.
Give us a bone, like.
I also think it's possible that the trilogy thing,
because I can't even begin to guess what they are. I don't even want to play that game. I don't know what the point is.
Well, and they also made the huge, in my opinion, mistake of being like, we're going to explore a side of Star Wars that you've never seen before. I'm like, for real or just for like the general public? Are you actually exploring something we've never seen before, or I guess are you just gonna make things up?
Yeah.
Because
well, when they
sorry,
say that,
there's not anything that has not been explored.
They're not thinking about you when they say that. I'm sure they probably just mean movies, right? Like,
I guess
probably.
I guess, but like. I also
we always make those kinds of grand statements. Yeah.
I also think that trilogy could be in some kind of danger of an overhaul or more oversight because they did not expect the mixed reaction that they got from the last film.
Right, yeah.
I think they expected it to be Force Awakens all over again.
Yeah,
and it wasn't.
I think they did too, sure.
It legitimately feels like we have a split country over this movie.
Yeah, it's like politics or something.
Yeah. No, it really has become like politics. I don't think they expected that.
No, and remember, that's what BVS was. I mean, more people hated BVS than this movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't love that movie. It's not BVS.
It's not BVS.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that. But they've got to be... they've got to be looking at that and going, well, crap, we didn't think that could happen to us.
Yeah, so I think it's possible that the Rian Johnson thing, it's more oversight, or he might not do the project, or something.
They've never had a Marvel movie that was that split.
No.
That's never happened.
No. Well, no.
Not right out the gate. Not immediately.
No, because people like Dark World, at least alright when it came out. It has since gotten a bad reception when it came out.
It was lukewarm before it was anything, but it
wasn't like this.
It wasn't that argumentative, like, split down the middle.
Yeah. So there's the second GNN.
Yeah, that lasted a while. So apparently Sony's CEO is standing down, and there's a lot of speculation that could mean that they might finally sell off their entertainment wing, Sony Entertainment, the film wing.
Yes.
Because it hasn't been performing, and they kind of need to get rid of it. And then people have been saying, like,
the Sony Entertainment wing hasn't been performing.
It hasn't for a really long time. I don't know this. They occasionally make a fun movie like Jumanji, but they ain't gonna save them,
It's almost like they keep buying the rights to these properties that they're gonna turn multi-million-dollar movies and then don't make them, and then they take other ones and they do make them and they don't work.
It's a little like that. I think your logic might be flawed. I don't know if it's exactly that, but that is kind of what it looks like. It's like that.
It'd be like if they had like a couple ancillary characters from one universe, and they're like, well, we're gonna make a universe around these ancillary characters, and we have like one that people have heard of, and everyone else no one's ever heard of. It'd be like if they did that, right?
But that would be preposterous.
That would be insane.
So, there's a lot of speculation about, like a lot of people questioning, okay, well, what would this mean for, like Spider-Man and Marvel and all of that? And I've heard, and that was the big question I was asking immediately, is like, could that stuff be up for grabs? The thing is, if somebody left a comment, I think they're right about it when I mentioned that on the live show the other day, and said, well, like, Sony owns... Well, I don't know if they're right about it. Let me ask you this. Okay, well, Sony owns these properties, but if they got bought out, they would just revert back. I don't know if they would revert back.
The article that I read said that the contract for Spider-Man basically says he's non-transferable. So... Apparently,
so that would mean Marvel would just own it.
Apparently, the Spider-Man license...
So there's no reason to worry that we would lose him out of MCU.
No, but we will lose this Venomverse, unless Marvel decides to keep making that for some reason.
Oh, shucks, and I don't need anything that we can...
Is that why they rushed out the trailer?
That's interesting. I gotta say this, though. I don't want anything that I can refer to as Venomverse. I just don't need that.
We will not get Silver and Black. Now, some people speculate that Disney will buy it. Disney can't buy any more companies.
Yeah.
They're already being investigated for the Fox buying.
Well, I don't know if that means they can't buy any more companies. I think
if they get Fox, I don't think they can buy any more film companies.
We'll have to look into. I don't know if you're right about that. I think with Fox, it has to do with specifically things that are within that package because it's so big, because there's just so much there.
Okay.
Sony's entertainment wing, I think, is small enough they could probably still get away with it.
Okay.
I don't know that that's going to look like a monopoly. I could be talking out of one side of my face though, because I don't really know anything about antitrust or anything.
Yeah.
So I don't want to pretend like I know about something I don't know anything about. But anyway, so I don't know. That's interesting. I don't want to speculate too much because we don't know anything. It's just the guy left.
Yeah. There must be something else. Like, I don't think people would just spin. There must be something else. Maybe there were already rumors circulating or something.
Yeah, maybe so. But they need to get rid of that. I mean, they're hemorrhaging money. They need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Just a couple more things. Warner Brothers is in talks with Michael Bay to make a Lobo movie, and it looks like that's probably going to happen. And why? Do you know about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
I just...
Okay.
He is, like, 100% the wrong guy for that?
Now, to be fair, I don't know how much I care about a Lobo movie in the first place.
I like Lobo. Have you ever read, like, Lobo's, like, early stuff?
No, I haven't.
It's fun. Especially you put yourself in the time and place.
In certain things, but I don't... And actually, I'm going to review something later that has Lobo in it, though I don't know if I'm going to talk about that part. But, like... Because everybody's in that. But, I don't know, like... I can see sort of how you might want to make that. Hear me out for a second. Because I keep hearing people say, well, they want to make Lobo their Deadpool.
Which I think is what they want.
And I could see trying to jump off the success of both Deadpool and Guardians with that material. I can totally see that and explore the.
And I've said many times, why haven't we done this? They literally have a character as their Deadpool and Guardians simultaneously.
The space and cosmic stuff in DC. That's a good way to explore some of that and make like. They've been trying to make these like darker, edgier movies. Lobo is obviously a thing that would have to be like that. You could make a solid rated R movie with that if they would finally, delve into that. And for a long time they were saying we won't make a rated R movie, but then they released a director's cut of BVS that was R. I think they could. I think they could, especially looking at what Fox has been doing. Yeah. I think they could do that. Yeah. But if that's what they made, this is the last director on Earth that would make that, right?
Yeah.
He's not gonna make what that is.
Also, so I think you can make a good Lobo movie. I don't know if you can make a Lobo movie that's going to appeal to anyone. So here's the problem.
That was my thought after I read the Deadpool classic stuff with Deadpool.
Lobo is
the Casey stuff.
Is a parody of all of Wolverine and all of his knockoffs from the 90s.
That is Casey stuff. Who am I talking about?
Kelly.
Joe
Kelly.
Thank you.
That is what he is. He is a parody of the super macho, over the top, like, just awesome, badass, Wolverine, every character Rob Liefeld ever created, like, that thing, right?
Yeah, but the problem is we've mostly parodied those things since then.
And every and every action movie that we have isn't just like they star like The Rock, and he's like making fun of those things.
That's not an institution anymore.
No, we don't make just like gruff cop movie, like tough guy movies as much. I'm not saying they don't get made. They're not what they were in the 80s and 90s.
They're not popular when Schwarzenegger and Stallone were the main guys playing those. You put Lobo out in 1994, and that's hysterical.
Mm-hmm. You do it now, and you're any movie starring The Rock.
Yeah, you make that right after Total Recall, and it's great.
Yeah,
but you make it now, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So, that's...
Although if you put it out right after Total Recall, you're just making The Running Man.
That's true. I like The Running Man.
I do too, but it's kind of a parody of Schwarzenegger movies.
You know what's really sad?
Although I don't think it knows it.
Running Man was a big thing Tim Lanz and I talked about doing a commentary on. I was actually reading that book in preparation for that commentary, and it never happened.
It informs that movie so much.
It's great. Have you ever read it?
I've never read it, but I've always heard it's like a super serious, dark.
So that's why I wanted to read it, because it's totally different. Stephen King should have written more hard science fiction, or not hard, but like pure science fiction novels.
I've heard The Long Walk is also like that.
I'll have to read that.
I've got all the Bachman books in the hardcover.
I loved it. It reminded me, and this predates this, I'm sure, but it reminded me of Tech War, and I like Tech War a lot.
I don't know what that is.
Tech War is William Shatner's ghost-written science fiction
series.
I
think you've told me about this.
It's wonderful, or at least the first book is really good. The last thing.
So some hacky writer had to bring in William Shatner, like ghostwrite his punch up his novel for him.
I honestly I shouldn't even put this on the list because I didn't look into it at all. I honestly now that I'm thinking about it, I just saw a headline.
Exciting.
I wrote this down. I'll look into the details. They're making a Child's Play TV show.
Oh yeah, I sent you a link for that.
Yeah. Well, did you read the article, or did you just look at?
Nope. I just looked at the title and said Cap will be interested in that. I know that Brad Dourif is coming back.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be. I guess I know something. It's
supposed to be
continuity? I'm sure it will be, but I guess we'll find out. It's supposed to be produced by the creator of that. So.
Oh, cool.
Or he's developing it. So that's exciting. I
don't know if that's a given. It's not a reboot.
It's not, but we'll. But because they keep building the continuity in the movies, I would think that they might want to keep going with that. That would be my guess, but I don't know. It doesn't look like we know yet. Yeah, it doesn't look like we know yet. This lengthy article with no information is not really telling me. Sorry, this is really unprofessional of me. I should have looked at this.
Give me your knowledge!
No, it's what I thought. They're going to keep going from the last movie.
Oh, cool.
It's going to directly continue from the ending of Cult of Chucky, which I enjoyed, but is insane.
Which is probably what your review of that TV show is going to be.
It will be, and I'm looking forward to it.
It is interesting to go back to Child's Play as a title, which we have not used for, what, 4 or 5 movies now?
Yeah,
Chucky.
I don't know if that's what they'll call it.
Something of Chucky and Cult of Chucky.
Because it just says it just says it's a Child's Play TV show. I'm assuming that'll be the title, but then that would be kind of weird if because the thing is we haven't really dealt with a little kid in a long time, and it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
At this point in that continuity, so. But I don't know, the rules for that are so wonky and out of whack and stuff. They're like,
I'm sure we'll finally nail them down when we have 12-hour-long episodes.
I would have
to delve into the mythology of the Chucky.
That sounds fun and horrifying. Like my brain will turn to mush after looking at that.
There will be a whole episode where we're like with Chucky, like in the astral plane. Like we'll see where he is in between dolls.
That is such a junk food thing for me. Like that is not. I should not be watching those movies. That is nonsense. I really enjoy them. Not all of them. They're terrible. But some of it's nostalgia. It was the first horror film that I was allowed to watch.
Everyone gets one. One slasher franchise.
Mean slasher franchise?
Yeah. Some people have Jason, some people have Michael, some people have Freddy, some people have Chucky. Like everyone gets one franchise. None of them are good.
Now to be fair, I have like 2 of those in children form. But anyway, folks, that's going to be it for Captain's Log, and thanks a bunch for watching, and leave your comments about all of these pieces of news. Man, we just so much stuff we had to cover this time. And if there is anything that you find out about that you really want us to chat about, make sure and send us a personal message on Facebook, or leave us a comment. But we're more likely to see your to see your requests if you send us a message on Facebook.